Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm so excited to be doing a video about the Glam Shop Turbo Glows and Marbles that they just came out with. And I was so lucky to get this, like all of these in PR together with this magnetic palette from Glam Shop. And I'm just super excited, and I'll be doing some swatches in this video. And yesterday I spent the whole evening doing some macro shots, just like of the pans, but also of finger swatches. So I will go through that first, and then I will go through each and every color, trying to explain like what I see in them, like the shifts and the base and all that kind of stuff. And then I will do some live swatches, and I did have some issues with my microphone, so I really just filmed this whole video without sound. So the live swatches are going to be just with like music on, and I think the video is going to be long enough already, so I think that's fine. And then I'll in the end do some comparisons. So there will be like 3 parts of the videos, first with the macro shots, and then live swatches, and then comparisons. So it's going to be a long video, so I will leave some timestamps up here so you can just go to the part that you want to see. As you can see, I have the Turbo Glows in the first 2 rows, and then I have the marbles in the second row. The Turbo Glows go for the price of 25 Polish zloty, and then we have the marbles for 19 Polish zloty. I will just leave the transitions of the currencies up here. So they're all relatively affordable, and especially when you get them on sale, they're really cheap. But let's just go straight into the macro shots and the like explanations of each and every shade. So the first shade is called Nymph, and it's a gorgeous like light based with a little bit of a yellow hint to it, I feel like, but it has a pink shift, so it's a really beautiful light shade. And I already use this in my inner corner in this the look that I'm wearing for this video actually, and it's so stunning and quite intense. Then the second shade is called Splash, and it's a lot more neutral in my opinion. It's very shiny and it has some multicolored sparkles as well, so I'm sure that when applying this on the eye it will look a lot more intense than it might look just in the pan, because you can even see already from these macro shots that you can see the multicolored sparkles, so it's a very beautiful shade as well. The third shade is called Decorative, and it's one of the most beautiful neutrals in my opinion, because it's super sparkly. It has slightly more texture to it and a lot of multicolored sparkles, and it's just super sparkly and beautiful, and I really like this shade. Then the next shade is called Slightly Pink, and it is slightly pink. It has a pink shift, and like we're going a little bit deeper and deeper with the base of these shadows, and it does look kind of pink in the pan, but it seems to have like more of a neutral base and then the pink to gold shift. Next one we have Lacy Pink, which is also one of my favorite neutrals, because as you can see from this video, it is incredibly sparkly. It has so many different colors in the sparkles: pink, green, purple, a little bit of gold. It's just so sparkly and beautiful, and I cannot wait to use this one. It's so pretty. Then we have the shade Rose Quartz, which reminds me a little bit of their shade in Rosovi Sorbet and also Cygnus from Divina, but I'm going to compare them later in this video, so you will see that. But it has a pink to gold shift, and it's like a medium shade color, and it's really beautiful. Then it's another one of my favorites. This one is Pink Topaz, and you can see the intense light blue shift, but also purple and gold and pink, and it's just incredibly sparkly and really multi-dimensional, which is something I really like in a shadow. So this one is definitely one of my favorites, especially of the neutral shades. Last but not least, in this row we have the shade Amaranth, and it is really beautiful. I feel like it's not like the most special shade, because I feel like a lot of brands have these kinds of colors, but you can see that it's quite shifty from like a cool toned purple to a more pinky purple and also gold. So the base is kind of more gold in my opinion, because when I see it from the side it looks quite more like a goldish brown or something. But it's a very beautiful shade, and I'm sure this one will look amazing in a more smoky purple look. Then we have one of my favorites. This is Turbo Snap, which looks like a more deeper version of Vata Sukrova, so I'm definitely going to compare those for you. And it has just this really intense orangey corally base and a beautiful shift from light blue to purpley pink, and it's just incredibly beautiful, and it's one of my favorites. The next one as well is one of my favorites, and it's called Epigram, and it has a very opaque yellow base and a pinky purpley shift, and it's very intense and sparkly, and this one is one of the ones I was most excited about. Next we have Glistening Fumes, which is not like very shifty, but it's incredibly intense, and it's like a light pale gold, and it's very shiny, reflective, sparkly and beautiful, and it's probably one shade that is more for the people who like neutral shades, and I already used this and it's really shiny and beautiful. It looks almost like a light pale gold or pale yellow. And then the next shadow that we have is called Fortune Teller. It's one of those classic goldish green ones with a slightly warmer base, and this one is super intense. It's so opaque, super sparkly, shiny, reflective, kind of like all the other Turbo Glows, but it's really beautiful. And yeah, I already used this one as well and I love it. The next one is a must-have in my opinion, because this one has like a cooler toned purple base. It's called Tombac, by the way, and it has like a greenish gold shift, but also like blue and purple and pink sparkles, and this one is just so unique because it's quite cool toned but also has like a slight warmer shift. So this one was one that really surprised me and that I'm super excited to have. Also, this next one, Cold Smoke, is super exciting because it's also a very cool toned shade with slightly pinky purpley tones to it, but it's almost like silvery gray reflective, and it's just very intense and beautiful as well. So if you like cool tones, then this one is definitely for you. Then we have Patinated, which is slightly more warmer. You can see like a pink shift towards the nail, and then you can see the light blue sparkles. So this one is very sparkly and intense and really beautiful. So I will be comparing this with another Turbo Glow that I have, and yeah, you will just have to wait and see how much they look similar or not. And then the last one of the Turbo Glows is this gorgeous one called a Bright Amethyst, and it's so beautiful. It's almost reminding me of Glazed from Cliona. I think it's called Glazed because it has a pink to purple shift, but also shifts to gold, and it has a lavender, like light lilac base, and it's just incredibly stunning, and I think this will be a favorite for a lot of people. And then we have the first marble shadow. This one is called Kristal, and it's just a super pale gold, and I would almost call it like a white gold or crystal gold, of course, because of the name, and it's incredibly shiny and intense and super beautiful. So if you like neutrals, this one is definitely for you. The next one is called Muse, and it's kind of like surprising to me because I thought it was just going to be like a goldish shade, but this one actually has like the white crumbles that you can see in it. I will just call it crumbles. They are actually kind of like tinted green, so you have a really nice green reflect to this shade even when it's rubbed in. So this one is quite unique. So if you want something a little bit more colorful but still neutral, this one is incredibly beautiful. Then the next one is called Illusion, and this is not one of my favorites, but it's still really beautiful. And if you like cool tones that are not like super shifty and more like, it's still super sparkly and intense, but it's maybe just not my personal favorite, but it's still a beautiful shadow and you can really see the sparkles in this one. Now we're moving on to the purples, which were so surprising to me because they're all so beautiful. And this one is called Affair, and it has a light blue to purple shift, but it's also like warm toned, as you can see, and you will see with a lot of these that they look quite different when you rub them in. So this is just me tapping into the shadow. Next is the shade that is called Dainty, which is just a gorgeous warm purple, because you can see like the gold reflex in this one. Super sparkly, opaque and intense, and I really like this one as well. Next shade is called Narcissus, and it's a kind of deeper purple and it's very warm toned. You can even see the gold reflex here, and it's just super intense and incredibly stunning. I really recommend you to get this one if you like warm purples. It's just so pretty. And also the next one is a purple that I was so excited about. This one is called Tarot, and it's even deeper and it has more of like a bluish purple color to it, but it has all of those multicolored sparkles and it's incredibly beautiful and definitely one I would recommend. And for the last one in this row, it's called Swindle, and this one is also a purple, but this one is warmer than Tarot, and you will see it when I do the swatches, like the live swatches, the difference. But this is also super beautiful, and if you like purples, this one is definitely for you. This next one is called Milk and Honey, and it fits so perfect, like the name, to the shadow, because it looks like the exact colors of like milk and honey. It's in a very beautiful or reflective gold when you rub it in, and it's just very beautiful, and especially if you like golds and neutrals, then this one is very pretty. And now we're moving into the more orangey ones. So this one is called Original. It's very beautiful. It's like a kind of like orangey gold, and it's quite pale, or it's not like super pale, but it's relatively light and very reflective and beautiful. The next one is called Scandal, and this one is one of my favorites. As you can see, it's a lot more crumbly than the others, but it has so many shifts. It reminds me a little bit of Fiery Pod Fox from Tammy Tanuka, which has been in almost all of my custom palettes lately. So I'm very excited about this one because it's so intense and opaque. The same goes for the next one, which is called Fashion for Success, and this one is more of a red with gold, and it also has a lot of those gold shifts and a reddish base, which I love, and I don't really think I have a lot like this, so I'm very excited about this one, and I was even eyeing this one before I got the message that I got the PR package, so I'm very happy to have this one. Next we have the shade Weather for the Rich, and this is a perfect fall color because it's like a rusty brown, almost like antique brown, and it's really beautiful and so intense. You're going to see that in the live swatches, so if you like more brownish golds, then this is perfect. Next they have 3 different golds with like blue in them, and this one is called Alexis, and it's more of like an antique gold with purpley blue crumbles, and these are actually really different when you swatch them out, which you will see later, but it's a very beautiful and reflective shade, and all of these are just super reflective. The next one of them is called Nightmare, and this one is more of a yellowy green gold with almost like the same bluish purple crumbles to it. It's a super stunning shade, and it's quite dark when you swatch it out, but it has a lot of multicolored sparkles to it, which makes it quite exciting. The last one I knew that I had to have. This one is called Mirage, or Fata Morgana in Polish, and it's just an incredibly beautiful shade. It's a lot more like greenish when you rub it in, but it's just a beautiful shade, and I definitely recommend this one. So that was all of these really close up, and they're so beautiful. Like, I was so surprised at all of the multicolored sparkles and the intensity, especially of the marbles. They're just so opaque and beautiful, and the turbo glows are beautiful as usual. Like, I'm not surprised at how gorgeous those are, but I was a little bit skeptical to the marbles, but I'm definitely not skeptical anymore. They're incredibly beautiful. But now that you have seen the close-up shots, let me just turn on some music for you guys and show you the live swatches of these, and I will also do it like I usually do when I swatch my palettes and stuff, and show you in different lighting with flash on so you can really see the shifts and sparkles. And I'm telling you, they're so intense, so definitely check these swatches out live. So my first comparisons are for the shade in the middle here, which is called Tombac, and that was the one that is more cool toned with a warm shift. And the top one right here is called Sterid, then we have Tombac, and then we have Schlagier. And they're not very similar. I feel like the two bottom ones are most similar. I just picked this out of like how they looked in the pan from the shift. And yeah, I don't think these are too similar. The bottom one, Schlagier, doesn't have a shift, but Tombac does. So yeah, if you have one, then you have to kind of like think if you want the other. So I just wanted to show this. Here you have the shade Splash at the top, and then we have the one that is called something like Peach Silver in English. I'll just show you the actual pan. So that is the name of the bottom one, definitely more warm toned and peachy. Here you see Turbo Snap at the top and Vata Cukrova at the bottom. I just wanted to compare these because I immediately thought of Vata Cukrova when I saw Turbo Snap, but clearly they are very different, but they have like kind of like the same kind of base, which is like more of a corally peachy base, and both of these will look very much more intense on a glue as a base, but so beautiful both of them. Here we have Candy Solana, which was one of their regular or ultra pearl shimmers, and then we have the new one, Scandal, and then I just had to compare it with Fiery Pod Fox from Tamitanuka because I had it here. They're quite different actually, but here you see them all swatched out. At the top here we have the shade that's called Mirage compared to Turbo Mieta, and this one surprised me because they're really similar actually in both shift and base color, but you can see that the marble shade on top is a bit more intense and a little bit darker, I feel like. So they're definitely different enough, but if you need both, you have to consider for yourself. Here we have the shade Rio at the top, then we have Taro from the marbles, and then we have Yego Visokosh. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that one's at the bottom. And as you can see, these are not very similar. Obviously you can get them more intense by using glitter base, but at least here you can see them swatched as they are. So for this comparison we have Pluton at the top, then we have the shade Narcissus, then we have Archimisters, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, I'm so sorry. Then we have the shade Dainty, which is second to last, and then we have Miss at last. So none of these are actual dupes, but at least you get to see how they look next to each other, so you can see what kind of shades draw you the most. Here we have a comparison of Rosovie Sorbet, then we have Rose Quartz, and last it's Global Nigel Lamb. So all of these are different, but they are kind of the same. So as you can see, they all have like the same kind of shifts, but they have like a different kind of tone to them. Yeah, they're not the same, but relatively similar. Here we have Ornament at top, then we have Fortune Teller, which is the new one, and then at the bottom it's the shade called AU, and that is from a palette, so I don't know if that's on sale anymore, because it was on sale when I got it, and it's typically not sold as a single as far as I know. But they are extremely similar, and I don't really think you will see any difference on the eyelid with these. So you can like see a little bit here on the shift that they shift a little bit different, but they're extremely similar. Here we have some comparisons. So the top one is Siminosi Yepli, I think that means hot and cold or something. Then we have the shade Suk, and then we have Patinated, which is the new one, that's number 3 in line here. Then we have Asteroid, and then at last it's Celtic. So none of these are actual dupes, but as you can see they have like kind of similar appearances, like a warmer base and a cooler toned shift, but they're definitely not that similar. In this comparison we first have Amaranth, which is one of the newer ones. Then we have the shade Gin, then it is the marble shadow called Swindle, which is more blue toned, and then it's Figoviek and Vegas Bis. So as you can see, none of these are really dupes at all. That was all of the comparisons done, and wow, I think this was a really long video, so if you stuck till the end, then thank you. And as you can see, these are so beautiful, and there aren't that many similar ones compared to like the other ones that they have already in their collection, so I'm very happy about that. Of course there could be some that are quite similar that I don't have, but I do have most of their shadows. All in all, I'm super impressed with all of these. They're so pretty. They're super opaque like the marbles, and so shiny and sparkly. The turbo glows are like their regular turbo glows are, very sparkly, a little bit more fine in the particles, but also a little bit sheerer kind of, but not all of them. By the way, if my makeup looks really bad, it's because I'm on my 14th hour wearing it, so please don't judge that. For my next Glam Shop video, I do already have a couple looks and tutorials with a few of their palettes, but I also am going to do swatches of like this half of the palette because I haven't done that yet, and a lot of these are like mattes and ultra pearls, so if you are interested in seeing that, then make sure to subscribe to my channel to be able to see that. But I do think that's it for this video. I hope that you liked it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and hopefully I will see you in my next video as well. Thanks for watching. Bye!